Hi all, welcome to another video of Berg Performance, and in this video I will show you what is needed to achieve 600 brake horsepower on a daily driven M340i. And what we also have done as supporting mods for this vehicle. So please have a look and enjoy. So first of all, it is important to point out what the customer request was. We get a lot of questions from people like, okay, hey, how much horsepower can I get with an M340i? What can I do? The possibilities are endless and it depends on the customer wish itself. This customer wants a reliable setup for the power. He wants to be able to use just pump fuel, no ethanol or something like that. But besides the power, this car needs to stop and handle as well in a better way. You are giving this car a lot of power, but the suspension and the brake setup out of the factory are not able to withstand that power in a correct way or in a safe way, in my opinion, and also in the customer's opinion. So what we did is upgrade the brake system first of all. We have upgraded this brake system with a M Performance brake kit upgrade with the rotors, the brake pads, the calipers. We have also changed the brake fluid and also coded the brake system to the ABS module of this car so that it operates and handles correctly. A second thing for the handling wise, is that we have fitted this car with a KW V3 suspension kit. So we have changed the whole suspension setup by changing the shocks, the springs, and removing the adaptive function of the OEM suspension. But that doesn't matter in this scenario because the KW set really gives a nice mix or nice balance between comfort and sportiness and benefits the handling in a good way. It was not the wish to lower this car as much as possible, but a little bit of lowering was involved. And a third thing that we did is we have changed the tire setup of this car. Originally, this car comes with 225 sections in the front. We have fitted 255 sections at the front right now. And for the back side, we have fitted 265, 265 sections at the rear instead of the 255 what it has originally. Now you're obviously curious about, okay, but this car has xDrive. I mean, for an xDrive car, you really need to be careful about getting the same height as OEM for all of the four corners on this vehicle. We have discussed this together with the tire specialist to see, okay, what are the right sizes for this car without it giving any disadvantages to the xDrive system. And it occurred that the 265 at the rear with the 35 in height and 19-inch wheels is for the rear the correct size. Together, and that's the important part, together with 255s in the front with 35 heights and 19-inch wheels as well. This car has been fitted with winter tire setup right now, so all the runs that you will see is also, first of all, with wider tires, bigger wheels, and winter tires, so not the original ones which give a little bit less of resistance. But for putting the power down nicely and improving the handling of this car and giving it more safety, this is the way to go. Furthermore, the exhaust system of this vehicle. Obviously, because it has a bigger turbocharger, which we'll get into later, this car has been fitted with a catless downpipe, together with a full Miltech catback exhaust system. As you can see, this is all Miltech going to the rear of the car with a very nice looking Miltech backbox as well. It has the original valves installed. We did not install an external valve controller to this vehicle. It is possible though, now I'm thinking, maybe we'll do that later, but it's not necessary. But this system, besides the fact that it looks cool, it sounds amazing as well. These B58 engines compared to the S58 or I don't know, other BMW engines, they sound very deep, dark, stormy and just very powerful. In combination with this exhaust setup, it is perfect. Of course, besides the sound, it is also a very good flowing exhaust system. So It doesn't give any back pressure to the turbocharger in order to achieve these power numbers. It is just a good setup. Let's now come to the engine. So what kind of upgrades did we do to achieve a stable 600 horsepower on 98 pump fuel for this vehicle? First of all, we have upgraded the turbochargers. The Turbo Systems Stage 2 turbocharger, which we have fitted to this vehicle. Besides that, we have also upgraded the intake manifold of this car with a Wagner tuning intake manifold. That's part 2. The third thing is that we have upgraded the TU fuel pump with a Dorch Engineering Gen 2 fuel pump. Is it necessary? Yes and no. We were getting approximately around 570 horsepower with the TU pump on 98. That was the absolute limit. And to get that extra 30 horsepower, we have upgraded the fuel pump to a Dorch Engineering and also to make it ready to use, for example, ethanol, an ethanol mixture in the fuel. But besides that, is it needed? It's like, you know, getting an absolute limit of 570 horsepower out of a car at the end of a fuel pump limit. It's not very safe. So we decided to just upgrade the fuel pump and give it a more margin in the fuel delivery of the vehicle. We have also upgraded the spark plugs to other versions from MGK. We have fitted a intake system of Eventuri in this car. It is not necessary, it looks sexy, it sounds cool. That was the only reason. Not to get more power out of this car, but it is just a nice system to fit to this vehicle. Besides that, the ECU has been unlocked. We are using boot mode, so Pro Tuning Freaks, for the map switch functionality, because we have also generated a 95 ROM fuel setup for the software for this car. Because in some countries you cannot even get 98, which is terrible. And this car goes to those countries on holiday, so it must be stable again. I think we have summed up pretty well everything. So I think it's time to drive now to see, hear and feel what this car is all about. Don't you think so? By the way, when I was working at BMW, it was not allowed to close the hood by pushing it, because you can then make any kind of dents in the hood. So for everyone, just do this. That's it. It will not break. So calibration wise, just 2 more things. We have flashed the transmission of this car with XHP software and giving it a stage 2 OTS map of XHP. The drag race mode is not enabled. It will give you better times, but again, the purpose of this car is not to drag race. It is a daily. It must be used every day by the owner in a comfortable way. But the main reason is, of course, to remove the torque limiters. You can also do that with boot mode TCU patches and everything. The XHP gives a nice touch and a little bit more sharp shifting for this vehicle. What we have also done is to give this car a multi-map setup. As you can see in the RPM gauge, it's on multi-map setting 2 right now. We can switch to 1, switch to 3 and switch to 4, which are all different maps. Map setting 2 stands for the 98 RON. Map setting 3 is for 102 octane, which we did not dyno yet, so we don't know what kind of power it makes there, because we simply did not have 102 here in the Netherlands and did not have time to go all the way to Germany to get the Aral Devil Juice. We will just drive it in map setting 2 to get like 600 horsepower. By the way, one more thing, what we have also done is limit the torque to get a more linear map for this car. You can extract a lot of torque out of these engines, especially at low RPM. You can, I think we can get up above 800 Newton meters, but around 800 Newton meters. But we have limited the torque. I think it was approximately around 740 Newton meters to not stress the engine at low RPM too much, and giving it a very linear and powerful power band. So it's producing straight up 600 horsepower at a red line.
60, 100. Quarter mile. 100. 200. 300.
So, what is this car all about? It is raining as hell outside. Probably all the cameras will be terribly wet. Ah, it stopped raining and it's getting sunny, which is a good thing. Today I don't have my sunglasses on. Okay, enough chatter. This is a serious car. This is a 600 horsepower, 4-wheel drive, amazing looking, amazing spec BMW M340i, and my God, it is fast.
And it's scary.
It is so fast. You know, it is really the power delivery of the car. The linear power delivery of this car is amazing. Not giving it too much torque, as I explained before, but getting a really linear power band in which, in first place, you think like, oh, okay, yeah, it's powerful, and then it gets like, oh, this is scary. Oh, wow, this is fast. And you can see that also with the 100 to 200 times. So, for comparison, the M3 G21, because a lot of people are saying like, yeah, instead of putting that amount of money, just buy an M3. No, this car is faster than a stock, of course, BMW M3 G81. This car on 98 fuel, I did not test with 102 yet. On 98 fuel, it does a 7.3 100 to 200. So indeed, in a wider tire setup, winter tires, bigger wheels, touring G21, that is a really respectable time. And of course it is, because it's producing 600 brakes horsepower, or 600 horsepower. Let's forget about the brake. 600 horsepower, 750 Newton meters of torque. The only difference between an M3 is that the M3 has, for example, 510 horsepower, in which it does in a touring around 8.1 it was, I believe. I also saw 8.9, but let's say it's 8.1, then this car is still faster. The delivery of the power is really different with a S58 engine in the M3. Of course, you can tune those cars way better or way more in a reliable way with normal fueling. But this car just drives amazing. For the people who say compare this to the M3, I mean, yes, you can compare it to an M3, but this is not an M3. This car is more, I don't know, it is more forgiving than an M3. You can maybe state like this is an Alpina, you know, an Alpina BMW or an Alpina B3 it was, I think. It's also a little bit more comfortable than the M3, and the sound of the engine, in my own opinion, the sound of the B50H in this exhaust configuration, it sounds more beautiful than the S58 engine. The S58 sounds more raw, but this has a deep, dark, devil way of producing sound. I don't know what it is, but just listen to this. Like wheel spin, gear shifts. This is so good. And we have done a lot of drifting. So, we have done a lot of trips with this car already with the owner. We went to the Dolomites in Italy. He drove against like Porsche 911 Turbo S. What did we have? A Ferrari 488, I think it was. My own M3 back in the days. And really, of course, this car is not faster than a 911. I'm not stating something like that. But in the real world, when you're traveling to the Dolomites, in the mountains, doing your thing, this car is really capable of keeping up. In some cases, even faster. And you don't have any risk in the sense of the price of this car is, of course, way more affordable than those supercars. It is a really great setup. These brakes are an absolute must-have. They don't fade. They don't have any weird vibrations or something like that. Woo! Four-wheel drifting. Oh my God. The winter tires are cool. Okay, I was just like doing this maybe on the camera, but that was not my purpose. I was just leaning forwards and then letting off the throttle. But okay, I will just look out here. The setup is amazing. The sound is amazing. The power is amazing, the handling is good, the braking is good. What else do you want? Or a little bit more of ride height maybe. That was a big bump. That's the only thing you could want. I think this is a great setup. With the B58 engines, as I was saying, so if we put ethanol, this car is capable of running an ethanol setup, but the owner doesn't want it. He just wants to use pump fuel in his car. But if we put ethanol in this car and made a setup on ethanol, obviously it will deliver a lot more performance, a lot more power, better Dragy numbers, so that all is possible. What I would like to say is that this platform is capable of doing a lot of things. And as you already know, you have seen already a lot of videos probably of us with the previous ones, also with the S58 engines. We do a lot of M3s in the shop. We are very specialized in custom calibrating B58, B48 as well, especially in the Mini Coopers or in the cars which have the 18 gearboxes. Those cars really deserve a good tuning. The newer BMWs, like the really new BMWs, also use a different methodology because of the emissions. They use the Miller cycle, and we also know how to cope with that in a good way. So if you're interested in letting your vehicle tuned by us, we are more than welcome to help you out. This is like the same setup that you can get, for example, out of a Toyota Supra. I'm really curious. We are maybe getting a Toyota Supra B58 in a short notice. What this same setup will do when having only rear-wheel drive in a lighter car, what kind of times it will do. It will approximately do 600 horsepower as well, but I mean for the 100 to 200 time, it is going to be so much different. But really, as a family wagon, this is a perfect setup. So thank you all for watching again. I'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions, leave them below. And questions like, yeah, what kind of power can you make out of my car? No, it doesn't work like that. What are you willing to invest? What type of fuel are you going to use in your car? That determines the amount of power that we can extract out of your car. Oh, by the way, this Venturi intake. So only for the sound I like it, but listen to this. Look. It's like a scroll or a squirrel, or how Germans say it is like squirrel. No offense, by the way. It sounds so cool. And the pops and the bangs, burbles, are like OEM wise. Maybe a little bit louder. Okay, this is loud. By the way, the 0 to 100, we managed, I think, a 3-second run with this car, which is very fast. Oh! Or it was 3.3. I don't care. So thank you all very much for watching this video. Special thanks to Bidder, the owner of this car. Shout out to you. And also thank you very much for letting us work on your vehicle. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel, and let me know what you thought about this video. See you later in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.